Yo, what's good? Okay, so today we're going to be learning about fair value dabs. And fair value dabs are my favorite way of executing trades because you can tell, if you really know fair value dabs, you'll be able to tell if the market is going to be going up or if the market is going to be going down, right? So over here, I have two illustrations really quick on what a fair value dab is, right? Over here on the left with the green candles, we have a bullish fair value dab, and on the right with the red candles, we have a bearish fair value dab. Now, it's very easy to determine whether or not you do have a fair value dab, and that is to look at the first and third wick of the candle, right? If the first wick and the third wick of the candle do not intercept each other, right? Let me draw this one out. So here we have this one right here, right? And we have this one right here. See how they do not intersect each other? That's how we know we have a bullish fair value dab, right? Same thing with the bearish fair value dab. If the first candle and the third candle's wick do not intersect each other, so we have one wick there, and we have another wick over here. That is how to determine where and if there is a fair value gap within those candles. Now, in simple terms, a fair value gap, let me delete these real quick. So basically what a fair value gap is an imbalance in price, right? There's an inefficiency of orders getting filled, and price tends to trace back into the inefficiency and use it as either support or resistance. What does that mean? So let me find the example up here. Okay, let's see a good one. This is 5 minutes. I don't have replay value, like I said. Okay, so right here we have a bullish fair value gap, right? Candles 1 wick does not intercept with candles 3 wick, and see how this candle tested back into the bullish fair value gap, and then was immediately shot back up. It's because it's testing out the imbalance in price, right? Like I said, basically what a fair value gap is an imbalance in price. There's an inefficiency of orders getting filled, and price usually tends to trade into the inefficiency and use it either as support or resistance, right? So if it's a bullish fair value gap, we can assume that price wants to go higher. The more it tests out and the more it uses it as support, we can expect the price to go higher, like it did over here, right? Even if we extend it out over here, right? I can't extend this out because it's not my drawing, but right, it kept going up, kept going up, kept going up. It even got over here, right? But it still didn't close. And what happened? This fair value gap just kept going up. So if you have a bullish fair value gap, like I said, we can expect price to keep on going up. Now, what do you think it means if we have a bearish fair value gap, like this one right here, right? This is, no, that was a, right? Bearish fair value gap right here. It means the same thing as the bullish fair value gap. Only difference is that the price is going down, right? What's a fair value gap again? Again, a fair value gap is an imbalance in price where the inefficiency of orders aren't getting filled, right? Price usually tends to trade back into the inefficiency and use it as support or resistance. In this case, since it's a bearish fair value gap, we are using it as a resistance zone, right? See how many times it tried and tested up, but no matter what happened, it just kept shooting down. Here's another one, right? Shoot down, shoot down. It never really quite went back up. So that's another way to tell if the market is either going up or down. If you can identify the fair value gaps, I have an indicator on TradingView, which is the fair value gap indicator, because I personally don't have enough time to mark out every single fair value gap I see as a bullish or bearish, so I just have the indicator on. But if it's a bullish fair value gap, you can expect price to go up and keep going up. If it's a bearish fair value gap, you can expect price to keep on going down, right? Now, it does not show it. Actually, do they have an indicator here? Do they have it here? I'm curious. Do they have one? No, they don't even have it. Okay. So you might be asking yourself, what happens if a price does not respect the fair value gap, right? That's what we have known as an inverse fair value gap. So let's see if we can go ahead and find one where it was disrespected. What's one that we can use? Okay, let's see. Can't really. This is gonna be a long video. Okay, see here how we have. No. Whoops. Right here. Alright, see how we have a fair value gap right here, bearish. We got inversed here. Why? Because if we look over here, price closed, the body of the candle closed past this candle's wick, therefore demonstrating that it is a inverse fair value gap. Usually what inverse, this is not a good example right here, right? But usually what inverse fair value gaps mean is that price is going to go the opposite way. So, actually no, this is a good example. What am I doing? So, it's just hard to do without any replay. Without my replay tool. Anyway, so that's what an inverse, oh my god, I cannot fucking speak. That is what an inverse fair value gap means. If the body of the candle closes past the wick of the fair value gap that was created, you have what's known as an inverse fair value gap. Okay. So, just to recap what we have so far. Fair value gap. This is a bullish fair value gap. This is a bearish fair value gap. Why? Candles wicks 1 and candle wick 3 do not intersect each other, therefore making a fair value gap for the bullish. Same thing with the bearish. Candles 1 wick does not interfere with candles 3 wick, therefore making a bearish fair value gap, right? It doesn't matter how many times price tests it out, as long as it does not close past the fair value gap, the body's candle does not close, the candle of the body does not close past the fair value gap, it is respected, and we can expect price to go either up or down depending on the type of fair value gap that it is. If it's a bullish fair value gap, no matter how many times it's being tested out, like this, test it out, right? Test it out. This one was tested out. This is a good example right here. Got tested out 2 times, which still shot up. Bullish fair value gap was not inversed, right? This is a good one right here for an inverse. So right here we have a bearish fair value gap, right? But as we can see, eventually price closed out of it, right? It closed out of it, breaking the inverse fair value gap, or making this an inverse fair value gap as it continued to trend upwards, right? So that's why it's important to just wait. If you're approaching a fair value gap, just wait to see what price does, price action does to the fair value gap, whether it's going to inverse it or whether it's going to respect it. Again, if it's respected, we can expect price to either go up or go down. If it's inversed, we can expect price to go down or price to go up. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully I was able to explain that pretty well. So to recap again, what is a fair value gap? A fair value gap is an imbalance in price. It's usually inefficiency of orders getting filled, and price trades back into the inefficiency and use it as either support or resistance, right? Let's see if I can just do a quick drawing right here so it makes more sense. Where is it? So if we have this, right? We have this, and let's say there's a bearish fair value gap. Why is it so hard? The bearish fair value gap right here, right? And you have another bearish fair value gap right here. See how it's always testing it out, but keeps going lower and lower. And then same thing with a bullish fair value gap as well, right? If price was going, why is it? Price was going up. Right? Right there. Right up right here. Right up right here. Whoops. Put it down right here. It'll be easier. Alright, see how it was always tested and respected? Bullish fair value gap. We can expect price to go back up. Right? Now, if it's inversed, right? Let's say there's a fair value gap right over here, right? And let's say price gets inversed, or the fair value gap gets inversed. It goes here, 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 here. We can expect this fair value gap that was now inverse to become a support zone if it's a bearish fair value gap. If it's a bullish fair value gap that was disrespected, right? Where is it? It was a bullish price, a bullish fair value gap that was disrespected. We can expect it to become the new resistance zone, or we can anticipate it to become the new resistance zone. Hopefully, you know, that makes sense about identifying fair value gaps, either bullish or bearish, and identifying whether it is inverse or not. I'm so sorry I don't have replay on the on TradingView. I'm not gonna be paying that much just to replay stuff. Cool. So, like I said, if it's a bullish fair value gap, we can expect price to keep going upwards. If it's a bearish fair value gap, we can expect price to keep going downwards. Okay? And then if it's inverse, we can expect price to go the opposite of the market, like this, right? If it was a bullish, got inverse. It was a bearish, got inversed. Expect price to go up. If it was a bullish, got inversed. We can expect price to go down. All right. Price needs retracement to trade back towards imbalance to trade higher or lower. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in your head. Now, the thing is, fair value gaps are a great sense in determining your daily bias. And if you don't know what a daily bias is, daily biases help you determine whether or not you are bearish or bullish for the day. It helps you determine and read the market, okay? Market's bullish today, market's bearish today. Basically that's what a daily bias is. It has your own personal bias as to whether or not you believe price will be going up for the day, or if you believe price will be going down for the day. And fair value gaps do a great job in helping you determine a correct daily bias. right? However, the time does matter on the fair value gap, right? If we go to the 30-minute time frame, we can see here, right? There are multiple bullish fair value gaps that are being respected in the 30-minute. When we go to the hour, multiple, right, bullish fair value gaps are also being respected during the hour. So if I just saw this, right, I would have assumed. Damn, I don't even know. Okay, right? Market was in an uptrend. Basically, that's what it's saying. Okay. Now, the higher the time frame is, it helps you, one, determine a bias, and two, if I'm sorry, I took notes on those. I cannot read the notes I'm taking. If there are multiple bullish fair value gaps, right, we can expect price throughout the day on a higher time frame. If there's multiple bullish fair value gaps, we can expect price to reach previous day highs or buy side liquidity, alright, or even previous week highs. If it's the lower time frame, we can expect price to reach buy side liquidities. Does that make sense? Oh, I completely messed that up. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I haven't recorded in so long. Okay, so determine. All right, let's just restart from that part. All right, this is raw. This is unfiltered. This is uncut. So fair value gaps, right? If you have it on a higher time frame, like the 1 hour, the 30-minute time frame, it can help you determine the daily bias because you can show you how the market is doing for the day just by looking at the fair value gaps, right? Whether it be bullish, whether it be bearish, determining the fair value gaps on a higher time frame can help you come up with a daily bias. If you don't know what a daily bias is, a daily bias is your personal bias as to whether or not you believe and why you believe price will either go up for the day or price will be going down for the day, right? If there are multiple bullish fair value gaps during the higher time frame, we can expect the market to reach previous day highs or previous week highs. If there are multiple bullish fair value gaps during the lower time frames, like the 1 minute to 5 minute, we can expect prices to reach buy side liquidity. So if we go over here, right, bullish fair value gap, buy side liquidity, right? Bullish fair value gap, bullish fair value gap, bullish fair value gap. It was reaching towards buy side liquidity. Bullish fair value gap, bullish fair value gap, buy side liquidity, right? Now, since there's multiple bearish fair value gaps, we can expect it to reach seller side liquidity, right? Low side liquidity. Hopefully that made sense as to why the time frame matters on the fair value gaps. So to recap and in short, fair value gap. A fair value gap is an imbalance in price, and usually it's an inefficiency of orders getting filled, meaning that price trades back into these inefficiency spots and uses it as support or resistance. If a fair value gap is inversed or invalidated, we can expect price to go the opposite of what the fair value gap was. So if it was a bullish fair value gap that got inverse, we can expect the price to go down to a bearish market. If the fair value gap was bearish and it got inverse to bullish, we can expect price to go up as it disrespected the fair value gap. Having a high time frame can help you determine the daily bias and whether or not the price will actually go up or down for the day, right? If you have a multiple fair value gaps, it can either reach previous day highs or previous week highs on a higher time frame. If there are multiple bullish fair value gaps, if there are multiple bearish fair value gaps, we can expect price to go down, right, and reach previous day lows or previous week lows. If you are on the lower time frame, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute, right, we can expect prices to reach up to buy side liquidity if it's multiple bullish fair value gaps, or seller side liquidity if it's multiple bearish fair value gaps. Hopefully the fair value dabs made sense. If not, you guys can always shoot me a message on Discord and ask me for more clarification. This is my number one strategy that I use, or my number one technique that I use, is I search for fair value dabs, and I snipe based on how the fair value dab is doing. So if I know that it just tested out multiple times and it's going back down, snipe, catch a quick trade, close, done for the day, right? So let's see right here. If it was this one, right, I would have waited till this one, hit a snipe around like over here since it trying to test it out, close around like over here, right, done for the day. If it was a bearish fair value dab I was looking at, let's go back to the other one that we saw. Since I was looking at this one, right, I would have waited for this one, and I would have waited for this one, and then I would enter a trade here, and then close around right over here, right, bam, done. So yeah, that's pretty much it about fair value dabs. Again, if you have any questions, just shoot me a DM on Discord, or a question on Discord. I'll get back to you. Hopefully I was able to explain fair value dabs well. I'm not really good at teaching. The thing about me is that I just know, right? It just makes sense to me, and I'm trying my best to teach, and sometimes it may not come across like that. But if you still need clarification about fair value dabs, I'm more than happy to explain it to you in a more direct sense so you can understand it better. Just hit me a message or shoot me a message on Discord. Yeah, with that being said, peace out, and let's get some money.